My 1 minute strategy for engaging elementary students who seem to be a little bit fidgety or distracted is just to use that to your advantage. So you want to make sure that you're building in breaks into your virtual classes where students have time to express themselves. One day it may be show us your favorite stuffed animal, or the next day it just may be a free for all, and having a routine for that. So students know on Monday will be my day to share, on Tuesday will be a next person's day to share. And in addition to that, just having some scheduled brain breaks for all students, just to break up the instruction and give them a chance to use up some of that extra energy that they may have.
Yeah, I think it's about changing your mindset as opposed to looking at these things as though they're distractions. It's an opportunity to see parts of your kids that you have never seen before. You know, right now, as you guys are looking at me, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm actually hanging out at my parents' house in Florida. And if it were possible, I would have my dog sitting on my lap. I could have a teddy bear that I slept with last night cuddled up next to me. And that would let you know a little bit about my distorted reality. But the reality is, if we see that with kids, we get to learn about their pets. We get to learn about their siblings. We get to learn their passions, their interests, all of these things that oftentimes we don't get the opportunity to learn about in a face-to-face environment, that now we get to learn about our kids, that we can then use in our instruction. We can have instruction based off of that teddy bear or LeBron James or whatever it is, and those passions and those interests that we're seeing from our kids. Or we can hear them having conversations with siblings or mom or dad, and we can just learn so much more about our kids than we ever could before.
That these are little bodies that need to move, and sitting in front of a computer is hard for us as adults, let alone these kiddos who need to crawl and jump and run and maybe don't have that opportunity because playgrounds are closed. Also, in the brain breaks, building on what Dr. Blake said, the giving some specific instructions even in that 2 minutes. So like if every 15 minutes you have a 2-minute brain break where, all right, everybody, go get a drink of water. If you're allowed to have water where you are, come and show me the cup that you got your water in. If you're not, then when you come back on, put it in the chat if they're old enough to be using a chat, or, draw a picture on your whiteboard and hold it up. Those kinds of things that let kids know that the other parts of their life besides this, sort of academic teaching time matter to you, and it lets them interact with each other a little bit as well.
I think here is a really great place that we can think about how we're chunking up lessons using interactivity tools to essentially have students actively participating at all points of the lesson. The first thing I would look at is what is the teacher asking students to do? Is the teacher essentially asking students to just listen, or is that teacher asking students to participate in an ongoing way? So one of the most powerful ways that we can use technology in the classroom, whether we're in the class or in a virtual environment, is to embed all these little checks for understanding, whether those are draw response, do a quick audio recording of a response, do a poll question, multiple choice question. Some really great tools for that are tools like ClassKick. If you're not familiar with ClassKick, it's great for seeing what all students are doing at all times, jumping in, giving them immediate feedback, having peers interact with each other. So I'm a big believer that if students are actively engaged, we're chunking up lessons, switching up things pretty regularly, that's a recipe for engagement.